Hi, I'm Stella from CoverageBook.com. PR reporting is one of the most important areas of public relations, but it's also one of the most time-consuming parts of the workflow. That's why we created CoverageBook. So CoverageBook is a tool that automates the reporting side of PR. So when you're building a clips report, if any of you are copying and pasting, taking screenshots, pasting that into a document, and then adding your own metrics, you will know that that does take time. We created CoverageBook to automate some of that. One of our users actually told me the other day that they've managed to cut a global report that was taking around 5 hours down to just taking 30 minutes. So we really just want to show you how you can do the same. So in this video today, I'm going to take you through CoverageBook, the tool, and how to build a report in around 10 minutes. So let's get started. This is the homepage of CoverageBook.com. Do feel free to use our trial that we have. It's totally free of charge. You don't need to add any credit card details. You literally put in your email address and then confirm the email, and then you're straight in. Once you are in, you will see a dashboard that looks similar to this. This is actually my account, so that's why you can see that there are reports that have already been built here, and there are clients on the left-hand side in the folders that I've already created. You can do the same. I also have some teammates that I've invited in here. Again, you can do the same. There's no limit on how many people you can invite into your trial or to your paid account if you decide to go ahead. You just click the green icon, put in their name and their email address, send the invitation, and they'll be straight in. I do recommend to invite your teammates in, because then you all get a really good feel as to whether it's going to work for your particular way of working in your workflow. So let's get started. So I'm going to build a new book. And for today's purposes, I'm going to choose a pretend client, Adidas, but you can add those in there. And I'm going to add some online coverage. So just to really highlight, we are not a monitoring organisation. We really just do focus on building the reports. So you would have already had to have selected the coverage that you want to add to a report, and almost see us as like your ultimate folder where you keep all of your best bits. So in this box is where I'm going to paste my coverage. So I'm going to go and get some URLs to some online coverage that I have already selected. This is for a campaign that's going on at the moment where David Beckham has launched some new Predator boots. And I've pasted those in. So what the tool is doing right now is it's reading all of the URLs. It's going to those particular websites. It's looking at the page. It is taking screenshots. It's pulling in metrics. And it's adding it all into a report for me. So this is the edit view of the report, which I can, once the coverage is in, I can then start to edit. So already, that's how quickly it's gone and read all of that coverage, and I've got my metrics in already. So you can see here that I added 17 pieces of coverage. We've got the online readership of all of the sites that the coverage featured on. We've also got an estimation of how many views the particular pages that the coverage was on would have gained, social shares, YouTube stats, and then also a score there which is domain authority. Now, I'm going to go through all of those metrics in a bit more detail shortly, but just want to show you the format of the report first. So this is the summary of all of the metrics. We can also add some highlights, which is going to be great at the top of my book, because I want to be able to bring my client's attention to the halo pieces of the campaign. So you can either select the first 8 items, or once I get to the pieces of coverage, I can just press this gold star, and it will mean that it will go into my highlights section at the top, which I'm just going to do. So you can see that the coverage is now all in. So it's really how quickly that took. So I now have a draft report of all of the coverage and all of the stats in. It was that quick. It was a matter of seconds. So really all now it comes down to is checking all of the coverage and then customizing it to make sure it's on brand for when I share with my stakeholders and clients. So you can see here as well that I added in a few social links, so it's not just articles. We also have Instagram, YouTube, and tweets in here too. And I'm still just highlighting which ones I've got. So I'm happy with selecting those as highlights, and they have gone as small thumbnails to the top of the book with the summary metrics. Right now though, I'm just going to talk through some of the metrics for the coverage. that the tool uses, because they may be slightly different to what you're used to. So we've got here kicksonfire.com. So what we did, we went out to the URL that you added, or that I added in this point, and we went and read the site, and we took a screenshot of the coverage, and we take a screenshot of the whole page, just in case your brand mention is right at the bottom of the article. You might want to bring that forward. You can drag and drop that forward if you want to, but actually I want to have the front of the article here. You can also delete the rest if they're not relevant, so I could delete those down, so we just have that front page. We then read the page for a title and also try and look for a date. There was no publication date on this one, so I could add that. So the next area down is the metrics. So you can see here that we've got estimated monthly visits, and then it says powered by SimilarWeb. Now you may be used to using other metrics, maybe for unique users, for example. We decided when we built the tool that we didn't want to use unique users, and we felt that monthly visits on a month-to-month basis and estimated was actually more useful and more accurate than a unique user figure that's sometimes provided by advertising departments or by other tools. Now the reason for that is because most of the CoverageBook team were actually from the PR industry and marketing industries, and we were, a lot of us were agency side, sending reports to clients, just like you guys are doing, and we really wanted to make better decisions for our communication strategies and KPIs for the next year. And we felt that when you gain a unique user figure, they often don't really change month to month, so you don't really get a good idea as to how popular that site was at that particular time. You don't really get a gain of seasonality or anything like that. So we actually started to use providers like SimilarWeb that estimate monthly traffic. And from our own research of comparing their estimations to real analytics data, they're almost spot on. They're very accurate with their figures. So we believe that that is actually a much better useful metric to be using and to adding into insights and also into strategy. So what they do is take a snapshot based on last month. So here we've got 2.42 million people would have gone to Kicks on Fire based on a whole month last month. So that's the whole of that site. That's great, but that's a lot of people, and not all of the people that would have gone to Kicks on Fire last month would have reached our page where our particular article and piece of coverage featured. So what we've done is create a formula where we look at the URL that you added and we look to see where that piece of coverage was. So we'll be able to see whether it was on the home page, a sub page, or deeper into the site. We also then take a view of the site and the size of it and how many pages it might have, and we do that by using domain authority score as a proxy. From there, we'll be able to then decide how much of a percentage of the total traffic would have then got to that page. So here we've looked at the size of Kicks on Fire, and we believe that just over 9,000 people would have got to that particular page based on what the URL was saying, so where that piece of coverage was, and the size of the site and how many pages it's generating. So that's how we get to that, and we just think that that's a really useful way. It's not completely spot on, it's not completely accurate, because the only way to do that is through having access to the true analytics on Kicks on Fire, and unless we worked there, nobody can actually gain that information. But this is actually the next best thing, and we know actually from people who do have access to analytics for some of these sites, they have compared our figures with the true traffic that's landed on some of these pages, and it's been almost spot on. So we're really pleased with that feedback. So that's coverage views. The next one is domain authority. Now, domain authority is an external score. That's not one that we have created. It's actually been created by an organisation called Moz, MOZ.com, in case you want to find out more. And this score is representing is the authority and the strength of a website. And it really replicates how Google views a website. It's a very common metric that's used in digital marketing and especially in search engine optimization industry. So 73 out of 100 is a very good score for Kicks on Fire. And what it means to you guys and how you can talk about this when you're reporting back to stakeholders is really how how strong this website is, and what that means is it's just likely that this piece of coverage is going to be viewed in Google search results a lot quicker. The reason for that is because the stronger the website, the more trusted it is by Google, and it means that Google is going to send its spiders, its crawl spiders, to that website more frequently. It's going to be reading that content more frequently, and it's going to put it in front of the Google audience quicker. So that's great. So there's going to be more eyes on your coverage. The second benefit is if you have a link in this piece of coverage going through to your client's website, so for me it might be to adidas.com, it means that adidas.com is going to be powered from the strength of this website as well. So it just means that adidas.com is going to be seen in Google results quicker as well. There's 4 billion people going to Google every day, so it's pretty important to be passing on this information to your client. So it's a really good one to just watch. But equally, I understand that these metrics might not be important to you and your objectives or your client, so you can hide some of these metrics in your report if you don't want to see them. Also, we have social shares as well, and let's find some. So if you don't see a small icon of a social platform like this, if you don't see that, it means that there aren't any shares of that particular article. But if you do, it means that this article has been shared 30 times on Facebook and twice on Pinterest. Now, sometimes you might see this. This is sort of slightly got a black sort of cover over the site. Now, the reason for this is because we can see here there is an overlay on the Mirror website like this. This sometimes happens. It's the only one out of my 20 pieces that I added that it happened to. So we have actually worked really hard on the technology of the screenshots, and we actually take 5 different screenshots of the site to try and get past the overlays like this. So you can see here that I went to fix image, and there's a second one, image 2, that doesn't have the overlay. So I'm going to swap that, and then we've got a nice clean image coming back into the report, which is great. You can also crop the image if you wanted to get rid of this area here. I prefer having the whole page, so I'm going to leave it as it is, but there is a crop tool within the edit view there. Okay, so we've got some more social shares here, and we've gone through the screenshots. But as I mentioned, I did include, as well as article URLs, I did include some social posts as well. We have slightly different metrics for social posts. So for YouTube posts, we can pull in, we use the API straight from YouTube, and so you can see here that I've got 126,000 views on YouTube, and then just over 2,500 likes. And then we've got the video embedded here, which plays. And then when you see the full report, the video plays in the full report as well that you share with your client, which is great. And that also goes into the summary metrics at the top. So you've got the YouTube views here. Now, the great thing is that because this is online, the social stats are all live. So let's just pretend that let's just say that I needed to send this coverage report straight over to my client, and they would view it like this if they had an online view. Now, what if I then saw that my YouTube videos had way more views today, and I wanted my client to be alerted to that? Well, I can just click refresh here, and it means that we will go out and get the latest stats and then add them to your report. Now, if your client has the online view, so you've shared the online URL with your client, it means that they're going to get the latest figures here. So it's always up to date, they're always seeing the right thing. You don't need to go and generate another PDF and then send it to them. If they've got the online view, that's great. So let me just show you how to do that. So we've refreshed the stats, and that's gone in. So if you go to share, this is the edit view we're in right now, and if you go to the left navigation, you go to share, you're presented with 4 different options, and a shareable link is the online one. So you can just copy that there. You can also customize the URL that you send to your clients. So this could be adidas.coveragebook.com, which always looks nice and on brand. But yeah, if they have the online link, then it's always going to be up to date. Now, you can generate a PDF. I recommend that you do this really for print purposes, because the PDFs look great, but it's a very high file size, so it really is ready for printing. But if your client wants a PDF and they need that for their own files, then if you click Generate PDF and you have that sort of downloaded within your account, then when you send the shareable link, it acts as almost like an FTP site. So it'll be like a WeTransfer or that kind of thing, and your clients will be able to generate the PDF on their side just by the shareable link. So that's really useful. We also have a couple of options down here which aren't available in the free trial, but once you have a paid account with us, you can also export all of the information to CSV. So maybe you just need the data really quickly, you just need those metrics really quickly for a call or an update email or a meeting, and you can do that by generating CSV, and then you've got all the information here. So you've got your links, titles, dates, and then all of the metrics. So you could add those up very quickly if you just needed to. Equally, you might just want the images for a presentation, for example. So you might just need those screenshots, nothing else, and you can generate a zip file and just pull all of those images. So that's great. But I'm just going to go straight back into the edit view, because customization is really important for being on brand, for stakeholders or your clients. And so I'm just going to show you through some of those options. So this is the front cover. Because I had created the client already, I've already got the logo there, but I can edit the title. So let's just say this is my monthly coverage. I could change the colour. So I could have a box around the colour if I wanted to, or I could have the text colour. Let's go black. And I'm just going to save those changes. And then you can add some more information. So let's say it's November coverage. I could add some more information about the campaign here, but I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. And then if you were in a rush and you didn't want to change the background, we have a go at designing, and we create a montage of all of your coverage in sort of a tiled effect and as the background. But you can also change the background colour. So if you have the Pantone reference to be completely on brand, you can choose that. Or you can choose an image to go in. So if you have any images, you can select those files here. We also preload a couple as well, so if you just wanted to select one. I have one of a goal here which I've already uploaded. What I do recommend, just a design tip on the side, is you might have some campaign images that you want to include. I do recommend to try and keep it as plain as possible as your background image. You'll see why once you do upload something that's a little bit busier, it can be difficult to show off the coverage. So I recommend having something nice and plain but relevant. There are ways to add your campaign images in, and I'm going to show you that shortly. So there we go, we've got the background image, all of the coverage, summary, and metrics there. So I mentioned that you might want to add in some photography. So I'm going to add a custom divider. Now, a custom divider can be, as it says, it can be a divider page. So if I wanted to separate my social coverage to my online coverage, or if I added some offline, so I'm going to add some print shortly, I could simply have a divider page, and I could change the colours of that, and that can go in. So I've just gone to order and sort, so you can see all of the coverage, and you can see my social divider page here. I'm going to drag and drop that in front of my social, so it's just separated my online articles to my social, so that's great. But you can, there's a lot of flexibility with the divider pages. I'm just going to add another one and show you. So yes, you can edit the backgrounds with colours and things, but I'm going to import a file. So this can work really well if you've got an infographic, if you've got photography, if you have a Word document with an overview of the campaign, or if you had a slide from the pitch document. Really the possibilities are endless with this. There's a lot of flexibility. But I'm just going to demonstrate by uploading a nice campaign image from the Adidas football campaign and add that into a divider, because I want to have that as part of the end of campaign report. What we do is we resize. So even if you had an infographic that was really long, for example, we resize it so it looks good, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. So that's just loading into the book now. I'm going to go back to order and sort so you can see where it's gone. And then I'm also just going to move that right to the front. Now the quickest way to do that is click, drag, and drop right at the front. Now, if I had uploaded more than the 17 pieces that I did, I mean, you can really upload much more than that. So people upload 500 links at a time. You know, you have coverage reports of thousands of pieces of coverage. Now, if you do have anything from sort of, 100 and above, this notion of clicking, dragging and dropping coverage can become a little bit difficult. So you can change the order in another way. You can custom order here. So you can change the order by the date published or the date added to the book, or by the metric as well. So you could go by the most, the strongest pieces first if it's by metrics. So you can do that there. You can also add dividers in this view too. But if dragging and dropping is the way that you want to do it, you can also do a few at a time. So I've just highlighted that whole couple of rows, and I'm going to move them down to the bottom through drag and drop. I mean, I've just changed the order there. But I'm just going to move my image back because I want that to be at the front. There we go. So, so we've got the social still at the back. So that report is ready to go. So just a reminder, you go to share. I can get that shareable link, copy it, add it to an email, and then my clients will see it looking like this. So they won't have edits just because I'm still logged in, but they will be able to share it, and they'll be able to download the PDF if they want to as well. And just a reminder, you may well have realised this already, but that's a CoverageBook logo there just because it's my account. That would actually be your logo, which would be nice and on brand. So we've got Adidas logo, monthly coverage, November coverage, all of the metrics, highlights, nice big campaign image, coverage. Your clients can click through to the live coverage if they want to. Let's go back to the book. Got the social posts. Now they're actually embedded. So you've got the metrics here, and they're going to be live because they're embedded rather than screenshotted. You've got that mirror piece, and then all of the metrics as well. And social coverage, divider, and then YouTube. So we've got the YouTube stats of the views, the likes, and that YouTube video is actually shared on Facebook 58 times as well. And there it is, and your client can play the video here without having to go through to YouTube.
Guys,
there we go.
This is mind-blowingly dope. And today, I'm lacing up and trying out the new Adidas.
So you can see the video works. Okay, so that's the report now shared, so hopefully that would have saved you lots of time. Now, I did mention that you can add offline. I just want to quickly show you that. So I'm going to go back into edit of that book, add coverage, offline coverage. Now, you can add any files here. Now, to be completely transparent, offline isn't as quick and as automated as online, as you can probably guess. But if you need to add in your print coverage, your radio coverage, your TV coverage into a report, then you can. And you do that by selecting a file. So I'm going to just demonstrate by adding 442 magazine, which was a front cover piece, and that's going into my report. Now, the reason why I said it's just not quite as automated is just because we can't pull in the metrics but you can just add in the files. So we've got here the 442 piece. We've got the title, because we just read the title of the file, select the date, and I'm going to add in some metrics. Now we do try and make it as quick as possible, the whole process, and we are adding some labels, but if that's not the right metric label, then you can add your own. I'm just going to do an example here of circulation, but you can add your own scores, and that all goes into the report, and it goes into the summary too. So I'm just going to show you at the top. So you've got here the circulation that I've just added. Also, if you do have any custom metrics that you want to add in, so for example, you might have a score that you have developed with your team, and you can add that in. Or if you have access to sales information, you can add that in. There's one more area just before we finish up that I want to just show. So if in your coverage you have achieved links going through to some content, so for my example it might be adidas.com, that's a really good sign of success that you've achieved there in your coverage, so it's good to include that. So what we do is that we have a check for links area of the report. So I'm just going to add in adidas.com, and then what we're doing within the tool is scanning all of that coverage for any URLs that have been included in the articles going through to adidas.com. And we've got 2. That's great, and I would definitely want to include that because it just highlights that people may have engaged with that coverage and clicked through to the content. Now I might also want to go on beyond this report and find out if anyone did click through and what kind of traffic went through to the site, and I would do that, and I could come back and edit the report afterwards. But for now I've got the 2 links, which is great for proving success. So there we have it. That's how you do build a report in CoverageBook.com in a lot quicker time than it normally would have done. Going back into the dashboards, that report is now there, and it's also in my client folder. And I just want to draw your attention to this area here, insights, because it can be so useful as to track team success, and especially with setting KPIs. And also if you get any last minute requests from your clients, this is a really useful area to use. So this is essentially every single piece of coverage that's ever been added to our team account. Now I can refine down by client, so I can just choose Adidas. I can refine down by date, so let's say I have an end of year or end of quarter meeting coming up, and I just want to create a quick report of the coverage of the last few months. So I'm going to choose September to November, and there we have it. I've got a list of all of the coverage added to the client Adidas, 44 pieces from the 1st of September to the 1st of November. Let's build a book. And it's that quick. So no more sort of stitching together different PowerPoint reports, adding up new metrics. There's all of the metrics there. 44 pieces of coverage, readership, estimated views, all of the social ones, all of the print pieces, and it's all there. So it's all added in the order of the books. And then I can just edit the front cover as I was just showing you before, and then we're ready to go. And I can either share that or I can print it off ready for the meeting, and it's quick as that. Also within Insights, there's so many different ways to use it. I just recommend just having a play. But if I was setting KPIs for my whole team next year, I might want to see how well we've done the Huffington Post this year. Did we get any coverage on the Huffington Post? Let's have a look. Yes, we did. So what I can do here is review all of the coverage that we've ever achieved on the Huffington Post, what client we got that for, and I can also have a little look at how the stats change from time to time as well. So the estimated coverage views will change depending on where it is in the Huffington Post, and also what month we achieved it as well. So it's really useful to be setting KPIs ready for next year's activity. So that is CoverageBook. We have now been going for around 3 years, and we have approximately 1,500 organisations using us, and they range from, you can see some of the brands on the screen now, they range from small agencies right through to big brand global teams with multi-markets logging in and all building reports together with their agencies logging in as well. ESPN in North America use us, Edelman in a couple of markets, and Nike as well, and so yeah, lots of different ones. Stanford University PR team use us, and lots of different types of brands, lots of different verticals. It doesn't matter what vertical you're in. If you have online coverage and you have the URL for that coverage, pop it in the box and we'll be able to go and take a screenshot and pull in those metrics. We have lots of people talking about us now as well, and we've just included some of those quotes on our homepage. It's also on G2 Crowd as well, which is a third-party review site. So if you want to go and have a look about what people really think of the tool, please do. You can just go and see if it's right for you and your team. Overall, I would say if you're looking to try and save time and you need to free up some time in your PR role for the important stuff, for the deeper delve measurement, or for building relationships, or for being more creative. PR is a busy role now and we all need more time, and so if you can cut down your reporting by a matter of hours for some people, then you can really free up some time for the important stuff, and that's what we're trying to achieve with CoverageBook. So have a look around, have a look at some of our sample reports, read some of the quotes, such as Giselle from Neomam Studios. Those guys just really needed some more time in building relationships with their influencers, and since using CoverageBook, they've been able to do that. So have a read through and have a try and see if it's right for you. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions at all, email support@coveragebook.com. You can also get us on Twitter. I'm at Stella Bayles, StellaBayles, and CoverageBooks as well, at CoverageBooks on Twitter, and feel free to ask us any questions. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.